Aloha, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly meeting for SkillBridge RE. For any new folks in the audience, my name is Juan Morales, alumni of the SkillBridge RE program. I'm doing fantastic out here in Hawaii. My wife and I are both full-time realtors and loving it. We were just talking yesterday about how much we love the freedom of being able to decide what we're going to do when we're going to do it. A lot of times our schedule does revolve around our clients, but we always have the freedom to say, you know what, if I don't want to work tomorrow because I have to go to the hospital or have to go visit family, whatever it is, good or bad, we have the freedom to do that. And we don't have to ask for permission from somebody, get penalized if we happen to not participate in some activity. But yeah, that's me. So if you guys have any questions about what it was like for me going from active duty Marine Corps to full-time realtor, I'm always happy to have those conversations with you. But every week we have these meetings to talk about some kind of little words of wisdom, some kind of pointers I can give you that's worked for me to build business. And hopefully it's beneficial. And I'll also be dropping the link for topic request. So if you want to hear about something in particular, you can request that topic and I'll put together a presentation for that. So I'm dropping that in the chat box right now. And as usual, if you're in a safe situation, please turn on your camera and feel free to participate during the presentation. If you want to unmute yourself or drop a question or comment in the chat box, I appreciate it. It makes it feel more interactive for everyone involved, and it makes me feel like I'm not just talking at my computer. Alrighty, so today we'll be doing a little intro to social media. So for some of the younger folks, so I just turned 34 a couple days ago, and so some of the folks that are younger than me, this might be some really low level information. You're probably way ahead of the power curve when it comes to creating social media content. So just be patient, please. But for folks that are my age or older, this might be some groundbreaking information. So hold on to your seat. I'm going to drop the presentation in the chat box because the reason I do that is if I share screen, and this is for you guys in the audience, because one day you'll be doing Zoom presentations with folks, maybe talking to first-time home buyers, doing a first-time home buyer class, something like that. And then you want to record that video and then you want to share that video on your social media or something. If you do share screen and then you put your presentation on there, if you don't do the settings right, it'll just be your PowerPoint slide deck and then your face. But if you want to have everybody's faces in the audience showing on the screen, and then you put that on your YouTube or whatever social media, then you want to not do the share. Otherwise, it'll take up the full screen. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in the chat box, just admitting a few more people into the group. And if someone could give me a thumbs up that it went through and that is received. Anyone? That PDF go through in the chat box? All right, thank you, Andrea.
Yeah.
All right, so introduction to social media marketing. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration right at the start of it, just to show you guys how easy it is, and then talk you through the development process. So just for this quick demonstration, I will share a screen. I'm going to share it from my phone, which is a neat feature with Zoom. So if you're talking through some older clients on how to use a phone, or just people that aren't very tech savvy, this is a tool you can use. So I have a Mac computer, Apple phone, so they very easily integrate. I'm sure Android phones and computers have similar features, but just something to keep in mind if you're on the fence deciding if you're an Android or Apple person. So I made this post really quick just so I'm not Google searching and stuff while we're having this meeting. So all I did is I went on Bing image generator, and I put make a cartoon character that is scared and then transforms into a courageous cartoon character. And then took that picture. They gave me 4 options. I picked this one because it kind of shows it before and after. And then I went to Facebook, um, pulled up the share story or create a story page, put this image in there, and you can move around the image as you can see, and added the text. So you hit the text where it has the AA in the top right. You hit that, it'll add text. So that's why I added those 2 text boxes. And then I went to the top right little sticker button, and then you can search whatever you want to search for. You can also scroll through. My technique is just to search for it. It makes it a lot easier. And then I added the arrow sticker pointing to the scared character, and then the hand to point for the brave character. And so now I'm just gonna hit share, and then we'll come back to this at the end of the Zoom meeting to see what kind of activity we have on it. Alrighty. All right, back to the presentation. I'll drop it in the chat box one more time since we had some people join in. All right, so a lot of times when you're deciding what you're going to do for your social media marketing, you can get hung up. They call it analysis paralysis. Like with anything, like you start thinking through, like, all right, how do I do this perfectly? How do I do it most efficiently? How do I save money, or how do I spend money wisely? Like all those different options. And you can, that's why they call it analysis paralysis, because you can spend hours and days and your entire time in the SkillBridge program, you could spend just deciding how you're going to make your first social media post. And I don't know if you guys saw on the general channel on Slack, but David highlighted a great way to not be a secret agent. And Lonnie Moon, nice job on making that post. And as if you guys take a look at it, it's very simple. So like all you got to do is write up what the message he wanted to say, and then picture of him in uniform and a picture of him now as working as a realtor. And he could have spent hours and hours wasted trying to like figure out how to make it a perfect post, make it a video where it like transitions and like sound effects and all this stuff. And chances are like your audience for the most part is not going to care about any of that. They're going to see those 2 pictures, maybe be curious, what's going on here? Start reading it. Sounds interesting because they know Lonnie, they know that he's going through some kind of change, and then read through it. Oh, look at Lonnie's getting out of the military, retiring, and going into being a realtor. And that plants that seed in their mind, like, oh, Lonnie's my realtor friend. If I have a question about buying a house, I'll just reach out to him. And so that's a great example right there. So I'd highly recommend looking at that example in Slack and then also on Facebook. And it's that easy. And Lonnie, do you know how many likes or reactions you've gotten to that so far?
I was actually just looking at that. It's over 100 reactions and a little over 40 comments.
Wow, look at that. So over 100, at least 100 people paid enough attention to it to hit a reaction. Because I know there's a lot of stuff out there where you just scroll, like you might swipe past it. So if we're looking at people that actually stopped, looked at it, hit the reaction button, 100, and then 40 comments. So using like the conversion numbers and stuff like that you'll learn about eventually. Out of those at least 100 people, there's probably at least one person in there that's wanting to make some kind of real estate related decision in the near future, and that seed has been planted now for them to reach out to Lonnie to ask his questions. And it's just like a compounding like multiplying effect, because now that he's engaged with at least 100 people, the algorithm, and there's probably some people in the audience that know more about this than I do, but the algorithm now shows that, oh, this piece of content from this person is popular. So the next time he posts something, we're going to show it to more people, especially the people that reacted to it, and then it just goes on and on. And that's how things go viral, because more people react to it, and then the algorithm will make it appear on other people's pages to get more attention, keep people engaged on their phone longer. I haven't seen the movie Social Experiment, but I've heard interesting things about it. It's worth watching, based off of how many people I've heard talk about it. But yeah, basically social media is designed to keep you on your phone as long as possible. And you can use that to your advantage by putting your content in front of people. So the next slide that we're talking about, slide 2 of 4 in the slide deck that I dropped in the chat box. So the idea bag. So you might be feeling like you're short on ideas. So here's just a small sample of things that you can start with. And if you ever, if these ideas aren't any good for you, just Google real estate social media post ideas, and millions and millions of posts will come up. But the key is not doing the analysis paralysis. Like, oh, I don't want to post about buying my first home because I haven't bought my first home. Oh, I don't want to post about um, the VA loan because I don't know everything about the VA loan. What if somebody asks me a question that I don't know? Like all those different things, you just got to do it and then learn along the way. And so some of these things, so people that are not licensed yet, some of these things you can do. You can ask, you can post a question. What's the best floor plan? It's kind of a boring question in my opinion, but what's the best color to paint a house? And then everybody chimes in. One of my lender friends is really good with those questions. He's probably has some kind of really creative brain or some kind of source for those hot questions where it's like, who's going to win the Super Bowl, Chiefs or 49ers? And then everybody starts going back and forth arguing. And then with that, his posts become more popular on everyone's social media. Um, and so, yeah, on that second slide, just to go over a few of these ideas within the ideas. So if you're doing a market update, you can highlight homes that are recently sold in your area. So once you have MLS access, you can pick 2 or 3 homes and just give the basic information. Hey, this is a 3-bed, 2-bath condo. Hey, this is a 2-bed, 2-bath single family home. Here's what the monthly payment would roughly be on this based off of current interest rates. And you can do that and maybe partner up with a lender for that. So then you're using their social media following and yours, and then and also having that expertise so people aren't like, oh, you're not a lender. Why are you talking about interest rates? Um, Average days on market, like all these other numbers that um, might appeal to different audiences. Like days on market might appeal more to sellers out there. Like if I sell my home right now, is it going to sell in 2 weeks and then I'm going to be homeless before I PCS, or is it going to sit? Is it like our home sitting right now, and so I should start now selling it so that by the time I PCS in 3 months, my house is sold. And then a big one topic that I like is home value, like home appreciation, because people don't realize like you buy a house and it's kind of like a forced savings plan. A lot of people think um, it's just where I live and they don't really consider the financial benefits. And so if you point that out to them, like, hey, the money you're paying to live there is also going towards your equity, and your house is also going up in value based off of this data right here. And you can show them the charts or the numbers, and so they can see the facts. And you can show them the good and the bad. So, back in 2007, 2008, the appreciation dropped by a little bit, but then if you look at the 4 years after that, it jumped up by another 25%. You can show them those numbers so that it's a data-based decision on whether to buy, sell, whatever, and not just emotion, fear-based. Home buying myths. For Hawaii, this is a one thing that I like to talk to people about when I'm doing like one-on-one consultations with buyers and sellers. And so buyers, a lot of times people hear that in Hawaii you can't own anything unless you're Hawaiian. And there is some truth to that, but for the most part, it's a myth that's kind of taken out of context and blown out of proportion. And so what that myth is based on is that there's 2 different styles of land tenure or like home ownership here, and that's fee simple and leasehold. Fee simple is where it's like standard way you own a home. You own the house or the condo, townhome, and the land or the airspace where that condo is, compared to leasehold, where you own the structure, you own what's inside the 4 walls, but you don't own the land that it's on or if it's a condo, the airspace where it's located. And so people hear these myths, and these myths it's not just about like Hawaii stuff. It's VA loan stuff where like, oh, I heard you have to pay a lot of closing costs for the VA loan. And you can tell them, like, yes, there are closing costs. On average, it's 2 to 5%, but there are ways where we can negotiate with the seller to get credits to cover those closing costs, and you can talk to those types of things to diffuse those rumors, and then you could also just make a post like what myths have you heard about home buying, and then maybe that fuels some conversation on your social media page and makes your social media page pop up on other people's pages. You can also do did you knows. So working clockwise on slide 2, um, you can buy a home with zero money down. So a lot of people don't realize that, even though that's been the case for 4 or 5 years now. So with the VA loan, you can buy zero down. It used to be where over a certain amount you have to put money down, but that's just another topic where you can educate people on the opportunity and really emphasize like how big of a deal that is, because if you don't have the VA loan benefit and you're just trying to buy a home using conventional financing, then you're going to be putting 20% down, or you're going to be paying PMI, private mortgage insurance. And so even on a really low price level of 100,000, that's $20,000 that you have to put down. And so imagine multiplying that by 5, so 100K that you have to put down. Not everybody has that kind of money saved up. And so you can just emphasize to your military buyers, hey, like this is an awesome benefit. You should definitely use it. And then you can also do like dispelling rumors about how many times you can use the VA loan, because a lot of people think you can only use it once. Or a lot of people think you can only have one property under your entitlement, when it's really just based off of how much entitlement is being used up. So there's just limitless topics, and it doesn't have to be a long 15, 20, 30-minute video. People's attention span is super short these days because that's how social media has made it. And so all you got to do is like a 15-second. If you want to go really long, you can fill up a full reel on Facebook, which is 90 seconds. But literally a minute and a half, that's almost nothing. You'll spend a lot of time trying to make your social media post just perfect, but you don't have to have a lot of information to get some people's attention. And then you slap your business card on there, or if you're not licensed yet, just pose the question and start that conversation. Tips and techniques. So if you have experience with doing renovations, stuff like that, you can talk about that. Or if you're licensed, maybe give some pointers like, oh, when you're going through a house, here's the top 5 items to check when you're doing a walkthrough, stuff like that. Seasonal pros and cons. So the real estate market, in addition to like the annual and the cycles that happen on base like over a decade, there's also a cycle that happens within each year. So during like November, December, when people are focused on holidays, spending time with family, Christmas, all that stuff, the number of homes sold starts to drop off because people are spending time with family and not shopping or packing up their home to relocate. And then it starts to go up in the springtime, and then kind of peaks in the summertime, and then starts to go back down again. And so that's valuable information to both buyers and sellers. And so buyers, if they don't want to buy during a really competitive time, or they're going to have to compete with another buyer, end up paying 5-10% over list price, then buying during one of those slow times, especially if that's like when they're PCSing or whatever, buying during one of those times would benefit them. And then for sellers, selling during a hot time obviously would be best. And then personal experiences. So if you want to, it's like the post that I just made would kind of fall under this category of personal experiences. So the first time that I was going to buy a house, I was terrified, ended up, I put $2,000 earnest money down, and ended up losing that because the VA escape clause was not in place at that point. So I lost that $2,000 and chickened out, came to Hawaii, lived on base, put $150,000 into base housing, finally made the decision to buy. And now I wish I would have bought that very first time instead of chickening out, because I thought I was going to be house poor. And so you can share those types of personal experiences. And that shows, like, if you have bought, that's cool, and that's good for you. So it's definitely something it's a value add to somebody wanting to work with you, because there actually are a lot of realtors out there who have never bought a house. And so it's like, imagine everyone in here having been in the military, and imagine if your recruiter was a civilian and they're like, yeah, it's going to be a really great experience. It's going to do a lot of good for you. Just look at all these other people who have done it. I haven't done it, but look at all these other people who have done it. Um, so if you haven't bought a house, I would highly recommend doing it as soon as you can. But yeah, sharing those personal experiences, because it shows people like, oh yeah, so this person went through that phase of being scared and he wishes he would have bought that first time. He might have had to tighten up his budget a little bit, but it would have catapulted his financial standing. And because if I could turn the clock back, I wish I had somebody standing next to me like, hey, I know you're scared. It's going to be all right. Let's look at the numbers. It's going to work out. You're not going to starve. Buy the house. And then lastly, if you want to like mix more fun into it, because maybe like you're burnt out after weeks and weeks of posting about just buying and selling real estate and market facts and VA data, all that stuff. You can make it have some fun with it. Do some local spotlights, highlight like a local cafe, events that are coming up. Hey, here's the top 5 fun things to do in the month of February, or here's the top 3 restaurants to make reservations for Valentine's Day, whatever. And you can have fun with it, and then people will see you as like a resource of information, not just for real estate, but stuff in general. And that's when you start getting followers, and people will reshare your content and all that stuff, and then that's how it spreads even faster. Any questions on that? Comments from anyone? Tools that they've used to get more ideas, anything like that? All right.
Personally, I'm never afraid to use other people's content, obviously with their permission. If another realtor posts something that I think is funny or useful, I'll just reach out and go, hey, you mind if I use this? Almost all the time, it's yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Don't always
great.
have to reinvent the wheel.
Yep. Yeah, and there's nothing new under the sun. It's like, chances are the person that made that post that you're asking if they can borrow, chances are they probably saw it on somebody else's page and just put their own little spin on it. So that's a great point. Just if you're having a shortage of ideas, search on whatever social media platform you're using, real estate, and then whatever those hashtags that come up, whatever those posts are, get the idea and then just take action and do it instead of thinking about doing it for hours and hours. So now moving on to slide 3. This is just like keeping it super simple. How you can go from I want to make a social media post to actually posting it, and then some things to keep in mind. Was somebody about to raise their hand? No.
Yes, I just had a quick question, Zor. The thing that you used to make the cartoons, what was that called again?
It's a Bing image generator. I'll drop the link in here real quick. And I just have like the basic level. Like I actually heard about this from Nick. Is Nick in the audience? Anyways, I heard about it from Nick, and I started using this to just like generate images for presentations, whatever. And so it gives you like 15 points or coins that you can use. So you can make 15 sets of images. And each time you ask it to create an image, it creates 4 of what it thinks you're looking for. And then and so you can do that up to 15 times per day. So yeah, that's a great way to put like your own little twist on your social media content. So slide 3. Did you have anything else? Any other questions on that, Clark?
No, that's perfect. I appreciate it.
So pick your message. Like what's the idea, the very basic idea that you're trying to post about. And so in this case, it was progression of buying our first home and then gathering the content. So You can spend an hour Google searching for 3 images and trying to find just the right image or just pick one. And same thing with Bing. You can generate all 15 sets and cycle through all of them, or just generate it, pick one of the 3 or 4 options it gives you, and then keep on moving. Assemble and streamline. So this is where you're gonna put a little bit of time in on that first post, and then it's going to benefit you in the long run. So if you are on a platform where you put hashtags, so if you're posting to your story, it's not really a place to put hashtags on Facebook. But if you're doing it anywhere else, really on Reels, on your posting it to your feed on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you're going to want to have hashtags that are preset. Like in my case, I like to have like Hawaii real estate. And then if I'm posting about a certain area, having that town hashtagged in there, stuff like that. So you'll have your preset hashtags, and then you can just save them in your notes in your phone, or text message them to yourself. That's another way to do it, because then you can always just scroll back through, copy paste. But if you're having some brain block on coming up with hashtag ideas, you can just Google top real estate hashtags, and I'll copy and paste these to you guys. So I just Googled that, and this, let's see. Top real estate hashtags for 2023. Not the one I was looking for. There's one where it's just, there's literally like a copy and paste button already built into it. And as you can see, you can waste time trying to find just the right thing. So it's best-hashtags.com. I'm going to drop this link in the chat box. And so I just searched real estate hashtags. If you click on that, it'll show you the different options available. And it just says, so I'm clicking the copy button, says, okay, copied it. And I'm dropping the hashtags in the chat box. And so I would just copy and paste those, look through them. Okay, realtor, real estate agent, home, property, investment, realtor life, luxury. If you want to leave that in there or not, like nobody really cares. I'd probably delete it, but that's just me. Luxury real estate, because there are, keep in mind, like if you're posting about real estate, wait until, if you're doing stuff that's specific to a licensed realtor, wait until you're fully licensed to do that. Otherwise, there are people out there that will hate that you're an up and coming successful realtor, and they'll try to come after you and get you fined or get your license revoked. Real estate investing, business, design, real estate investor, realty. So all these hashtags I could just copy and paste, slap those in a post, boom, and I'm done. Maybe add a little sentence like, this is the transition I went through, going from my before buying to buying my first home. And then those hashtags, for anyone in the audience that isn't familiar with hashtags, when people are searching for sale, like that's as an example, on social media or really on Google, anywhere, that hashtag will make your post pop up on their Google search or on their social media, if your post is popular enough. And that's why it's good to get things rolling and post consistently. And then, so yeah, hashtags. And then also you might want to create a checklist for things you do with the post. So like when I'm posting listings in all these Facebook groups, I have a kind of a checklist for the certain images, the location, the reaction. Like you can say if you're feeling excited, whatever, tagging my wife because she's also a realtor, and then putting in my license information. So making sure you're hitting all those things that will make your post more popular and that it's in compliance with RICO, which is like the law enforcers for real estate agents. And then the last step is posting. So I put those 2 bullet points of timing and replies to comments, but it's just a matter of posting. And then these other things that you can look into Let me drop these images in the chat box. So there's a website called Sprout Social, and it kind of tells you the popular times to post things. And all right. So according to these charts, which I recommend doing some homework of your own for your particular social media platform you're trying to use. So you go on Sprout Social, you look at I think there's some kind of zip code. I got these from a friend. So you go on there, figure out like where you're located and all that stuff. But for the most part, this is based off of timing. So eventually it's 4 a.m. somewhere, right? At some point, wherever you live. And so if you post at 4 a.m., it's like that's one of the highest engagement times for Facebook global engagement. And then for media engagement, which whatever that means, I'm sure Sprout Social has the information on that. Looks like anytime between 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. And so if you post it at 5 a.m., you're going to have all of that, those 4 hours of high engagement, and then it'll trail off in the afternoon. But by that point, kind of like with Lonnie's post, if he posted it at 5, gets a ton of engagement up until 9 a.m. and then the algorithm has already deemed it as a popular post, and then it's going to start popping up on other people's social media the rest of the day, or more pages than it would have if it was posted at 11 o'clock at night when people are sleeping. So that's all I've got for today. I'm going to check how the social media post has done so far. Anyone can ask questions or add comments in the chat box or unmute yourself, whatever you want.
Zor, and just to repeat what you said. So you said to look at Sprout Social, and then you type in your zip code, and that will allow you to see what your area is saying. Is that correct?
Right. So let me pull it up real quick. So they have like paid features in there, but you can also just like Google Sprout Social. Let's see, Sprout Social Instagram engagement. And so I'm going to drop these images in the chat box. Let's see. So I just dropped that link. So I just Googled, Sprout Social Instagram engagement. And so on that page, it's saying best times to post Mondays from 10 to noon, Tuesdays 9 to 2, so on and so forth. And then on the left side, it says best times Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff. So if you really want to get in the details about it, you can look at that. But yeah, the big thing is just to start posting. And then as you see that it gets easier, start doing the homework on how you can get maximum eyeballs on your social media content. And so within 30 minutes since I posted this, I've had 19 viewers. Haven't had any reactions yet, but the one thing that I just got reminded of is so on Facebook it's saying one viewer is my friend or something. And so what that means is I have a lot of followers. The reason I have a lot of followers is because I spent like an hour every night for like 2 months adding people on Facebook. So that when that little people you may know thing pops up, if I had more than like 4 friends in common with them, add friend, add friend, add friend, add friend. And I think I still have friend requests that are pending for probably like 1,000 people out there. But now I maxed it out. It maxes out at 5,000 friends. And now every month or so, I go back and I go back and scroll through my friends and see people who are inactive. It'll just be like the little gray icon. And you click on it and it'll say like deactivated, delete that person. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm probably gonna start going through, and if we only have like one friend in common, I'm probably gonna start deleting people because yeah, it'll just maximize your um followership and social media reach, all that stuff. Yeah, that's all I got. I'll stick around for a few more minutes in case there's any other questions. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Aloha.
I just wanted to say that I took my